What's up, shifters? Welcome back to another episode of Shifting Lanes Garage. My name is Gregson. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new here, thank you for watching. And if you like what you see in this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button at the end. It really helps us out and it's free. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you haven't subscribed and you are watching these videos, just hit the subscribe button. Why not? You're already coming back anyway. I am here today to talk to you about this car. This is my daily driver, my 2016 Volvo V60 Polestar, because I just clicked over 50,000 miles on this car. I bought it when it was, I had, I think 30,000, 31,000-ish miles. And obviously I'm on the side of the road here. I thought I'd pull over and talk to you. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to tell you about what my last 2 years of ownership of this car have been like. It's been a really interesting journey because I had the car for a full year and didn't make a single video on it to sort of get a better idea of what a car really is. Because most YouTubers buy cars and then they just go right into it and they don't really get to know the car at all. They kind of just buy it. They're like, cool, I don't have that kind of money, don't have the time for that. So I bought this as my daily driver and really lived with it before I made any videos. But now I've had it for 2 full years. And today I'm going to tell you exactly how it's been to own this thing and what it's like. So if you're interested in purchasing one, you can have a little bit more knowledge. Let's spin the camera around and talk about the car just a little bit and everything that I've learned just over the past 2 years of ownership. So most of you will know this car that if you subscribe to this channel. This is a 2016 Volvo V60 Polestar. It's not an electric car. Polestar now is an electric car brand, but they used to make enthusiast versions of normal Volvos. They used to be the M or AMG division, if you will, of Volvo before Volvo spun them off into their new electric kind of car company. This thing has been, long and short of it, nothing short of amazing. It is an utterly fantastic daily driver. It's an enthusiast-based daily driver. This thing comes with 365 horsepower. Reverse that. 345 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. From factory, at least that's what they claim. I dynoed this car, bone stock, at 315 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque at the wheels, which roughly puts it around 355 and 440-ish at the crank. Now, that is criminally underrated because what Volvo is saying is a lot less than what I've actually dynoed the car at. Why did I buy this car in the first place? Well, again, I like Volvos. Volvos are cool cars, whether you like to think so or not. A lot of people do think they're cool cars. I think it's cool. This is from the P3 generation, which, is around that, 2010 to 2018 time frame in Volvo lore. Like I said, it's a Polestar, so it doesn't have anything electric. It's not a hybrid or anything like that. This has a transversely mounted inline 6-cylinder engine. They made these for 2 years, in 2015 and 2016. In 2017 and 2018, they made a 4-cylinder version with a twin-charged 4-cylinder. So it has a supercharger and a turbocharger. My wife's car, a Volvo XC90 from a similar time frame, 2017, also has that same engine. I believe they call it the Drive E engine. And it's a cool engine, but for me, I had to have the 6-cylinder engine. That's basically what this car is. Now, let's hop in. We're going to take a quick drive. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the car and what it's been like to own it, because it's been very good, and I thought you guys should know a little bit more about it. Now, the first reason why I got this car and what it's been like to own is because of the sound. It doesn't come out on camera. You have to hear it in person. It sounds very, very good in person. But here's a little flavor of what it sounds like in launch control and just pulling away from a nice hard launch. When I was looking for this car, the 4-cylinders were a little bit more expensive because they were newer at the time. Obviously, 2 years ago, it was 2021, and they were still in the $45,000 to $60,000 range, depending on mileage. The 6-cylinders were a little older. They had a little bit more mileage on them, and they were still expensive. I actually picked this up for $35,000 from a gentleman named Shane out in Washington. Had it shipped out here. All in, I think with everything included, it was right around 40 grand with transport and taxes and what have you. Decent value for what it is. These things new were about $62,000 here in the US. To me, personally, that is not worth it. But as a used car, this thing is an absolute steal. The performance is really good. It's basically like an adult's WRX hatchback that handles better, is faster, and sounds better. It's just an overall great car, and that sound is really the main biggest reason why I got it, especially over the 4-cylinder, because there's something about an inline 6, and this thing just sounds utterly fantastic. So something you may have noticed as I was doing my walk around outside is I have tire letters and tire stickers sort of on this car. A lot of people don't like it. I actually really do like it. You can see that we're getting to the end of the winter, so I did it on my winter tires. I know I need winter tires anyway next year. If I didn't like it, I'd only have it on for a season. I kind of like the look. Here's a picture of what they looked like at the beginning of the season, and here's some B-roll of what they look like now. So obviously a bunch of them have fallen off. If you install them correctly, they should last a lot longer. I just kind of slapped them on there. Didn't do the best cleaning job of the tire to get the adhesive on there, but it worked out for me. I like them. I think I'm going to do it to my summers and maybe my winters again. It's from a cool company called TireStickers.com. Not a sponsorship. I ordered it from them. I paid full price. They just do a really nice job with what stickers they provide, and yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. So if you're interested, go check them out. Let's talk about the biggest sort of elephant in the room, especially with Volvos, is reliability. You may have seen in recent years that the newer models, the ones that Volvo has done since like 2016 and the new SPA platform with the new XC90 and all the like new designed Volvos, right? They are unreliable. Well, first off, my wife's XC90 is from that same generation. It has been absolutely flawless for the 4 years we've owned it. It has only done a bad O2 sensor and a bad steering angle sensor, and that's it. It's been utterly perfect otherwise. What is the reliability of this car? Perfect, quite frankly. You may have seen that there's a check engine light on the dash. That is because I put a downpipe in this car. I have not had a single problem in this car until I started modding it. These cars are stupid reliable. They have an engine that was designed by Volvo and built by Ford. A lot of people might think that that's bad, but Ford does a really good job at building engines, especially 6 cylinders. Volvo tapped Ford to make it because they needed an engine builder. They wanted to produce this is called the SI6 engine, and they just tapped Ford to make it. It's one of the most reliable engines Volvo has ever made. Some people might think that it's not a true Volvo engine. It is. They designed it. They did everything. They just tapped Ford to build it. So that's really all it is. The car as a whole has been perfect. There's been a couple of like weird little electronic gremlins, but not really bad ones. Like you have electronic gremlins in other cars, things go haywire. No, there's basically been like this, the center console has shut off a couple of times. And by a couple, I really mean like 3 or 4 in 2 years. That's it. Everything else has been perfect. No TPMS faults, no other check engine lights. Nothing else has gone bad on this car since I bought it in 2021. I have a booklet from the previous owner full of receipts of this car being totally, again, flawless. If you're looking to buy a Volvo of this generation with this engine, Polestar or otherwise, this 6-cylinder engine is immensely reliable, and I can hugely recommend it as an owner for 2+ years. The fact of the matter is there are Volvos out there that are less reliable than others. This is not one of them. This 6-cylinder engine in these cars, especially in the V60 platform specifically, is fantastic. It is great. You're going to get a reliable car that will last you a long time. There are several of these cars, the Polestar specifically, and other ones with this 6-cylinder engine well into the 100,000 mile range, and people have reported that there has been, again, 0 problems with the engine. Now, reliability and durability are 2 different topics. These cars are still too new to figure out if it's really a durable car. Durability would be something like the Volvo 240 platform being legendary for its like durability and just you could basically do anything to them and they'll keep running. That's durability. Reliability is, can this thing continue to be on the road without any faults? And this car has had 0 faults. Hugely recommend it if you're looking for one. Coffee and a muffin. Now the day can start. This is a really nice town. It's right by me here in New Jersey. This is Gladstone. And my dad and I used to come here actually when I was a kid to the pond right down the road. And I used to fish there. I had a little plastic rod. And this place is wealthy, beyond wealthy here in New Jersey. This is like one of the most wealthy towns. Over my right shoulder, you can see Rob Francis. It's a car sort of specialty dealership. Right now, they don't have anything really crazy in there. There's a Boss 302 and a Triumph TR6. Cool cars. But there is something down the road that I want to show you guys in this video because there are some ridiculous cars sitting just outside. I believe it's called the Barn or something like that. My buddy Eric used to live right above it in the apartments next door. So let's hop in the car now that I have my coffee and I'll go show it to you. Then we'll keep talking about the Polestar a little bit. So there's Rob Francis. You can kind of see in there, Triumph TR6, like I said, Boss 302 Mustang. But yeah, we're gonna go right here, down this road a little ways. Just down here, over here on one of these corners. Check this out. Here we go, down Main Street, and oh yeah, we've got some cars, people. Look at this lineup. C63 AMG, got a split window Vet. Oh, we've got a 650 or 675 Spider. You can tell because of little cracks in the top of the roof. That's a Spider. We've got a Bentley Continental drop top. And there's a Ferrari in the window. Old school Jags, I believe XJ120s or XK120s. Yeah, so that's ridiculous. But again, there's more down here. Old 450 SL. We've got a 991 Carrera Porsche. Oh man, just everything. Look at a Bentley, or another Bentley over here. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I swung back around. That place is called The Stable, not The Barn. Easy mistake there. But yeah, The Stable in Gladstone, they always have a crazy inventory of cool cars. Go check them out. Or I think it's Rob Francis. Yeah, Rob Francis. Ron Francis is the hockey player. Rob Francis. Either of those places are cool. They have great cars around. There's a lot of like little bespoke places around here in northern New Jersey, sort of like that with, you know, high-end cars or cool sports cars or unique cars. So driving a unique car as a daily driver, and rare too. This is one of 165 examples ever to exist in the United States with the 6-cylinder V60 in this year, in 2016. As a driver of a rare, unique sort of car, I appreciate sort of places that cater to that sort of clientele, whether it be high-end or not. They just have cool cars. So yeah, go check them out. On the topic that I talked about with the check engine light of modding, this is where this platform and sort of Volvos as a whole sort of fall a little flat. There's a modding community and they have enough aftermarket people to make it worthwhile. It's not Honda, it's not Subaru, it's not Nissan, it's not any of these companies that, you know, any JDM car you can find a bajillion aftermarket parts for. It's not a typical Euro. Same thing with BMW, Audi, Mercedes. The aftermarket is just overflowing with what you could humanly buy for it. Same thing with a lot of domestics. The Challengers, the Chargers, Corvettes, Mustangs. All of those cars are fast, cool cars. Some of them can be family, you know, daily drivers, unique, interesting, but Volvos as a whole don't even come close to those markets. There's a couple of companies that do really good stuff. FCP Euro is one of them, IPD, Viva Performance, and there's a couple of tuners, Hilton Tuning being one of them. You can get another one called TDI Tuning. There's a box you can install. I'm probably gonna do that on my car because my Hilton Tune is making my car run a little bit wonky, and I've flashed this car back to stock. Part of the reason again why I have the check engine light, and it runs a lot smoother than when I had the Hilton Tune on it. With that being said, the modding abilities of this car, Volvos as a whole as well, but this car specifically, there's not a lot for it. You can do your typical intake manifold, downpipe, turbo, intercooler, blah, blah, blah. You know, bigger injectors, the typical stuff. After that, you're kind of stretching it for what you can do. This car, even if you need to put or want to put different wheels on it that are not close to this, you can only run 10mm spacers on this car with stock wheels, or else you're going to rub. Otherwise, you have to roll the fenders, basically cut the fender liner. I'm gonna probably end up doing that because I want other wheels for this car, but you don't have to do that on other cars like a Subaru or, you know, a Honda. You can slap basically a ton of different wheels on and they'll work. Plus, this thing has huge brakes, so you can't just size down. You have to get an appropriate offset that doesn't rub, and that's what these winter tires and winter wheels are. It's moddable, but it's a lot more niche than any other car company. What I've learned about this car and owning Volvos for years and stuff like that is the modability of these cars, you really have to be into them. The mods are not cheap either. Comparing it to your typical Civic or Subaru WRX, it's gonna be a lot harder and a lot more expensive to modify a Volvo than those cars, especially if you're cross-shopping them for an enthusiast performance daily. With that said, would it turn me away from Volvos in the future? Absolutely not. These cars are utterly fantastic. I love Volvos. If you find good ones, they can be reliable and they can be a lot of fun. And that is what I will talk about next. Two more things that you might be interested in when purchasing a car or shopping for a car: utility and drivability / fun factor. Let's talk about utility first. This obviously is a wagon. It's a V60. They still make the V60, but now I believe it's only in cross-country guys here in the US. They've gotten rid of just the typical V60. Overall, the V60 is a very good car from a usability standpoint. You can cross-shop this against a 3 Series BMW from the similar time period. It's funny, 3 cars that I've owned: this car, an E90 M3, which is the 4-door M3 from 2011, so that E9X platform, and my 2014 Subaru WRX. They all have very similar interior dimensions for the seating part of it. All of those cars are within about an inch and a half of each other for hip room, elbow room, shoulder room, anything like that. This car feels very similar to an M3 as far as size on the inside. For the utility, you can see back here, I got 2 car seats. For what they need, it's perfectly fine. It's a little cramped, sure, but you know, this is a small-ish wagon, so you're not gonna get, you know, giant V90, you know, if you're talking about Volvo, or, you know, 5 Series or 7 Series if you're talking about BMW space. This is also not an SUV. You get more room in an SUV, right? With this, you really have to know what you want. It fits perfectly in my garage. It's not too long. I can drive it in the city. I can get it into tight spaces, not feel so overly cramped in the car that it's just, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm driving a Toyota, what's the tiny one, the Yaris. I don't feel like I'm driving a Toyota Yaris. This car, I feel, is, for me, perfectly appropriately sized and is still very utilitarian. I can get 20-30 bags of mulch in the back with the back seats down. This is a perfect enthusiast family runabout for those that don't need a ton of space. Now, the last point I want to bring up about this car, because we've covered reliability, we've covered usability, we've covered modability, is the fun factor. Don't get me wrong, this thing's very fun. It is not an M3, it is not an AMG car, and it is not an RS car from Audi. It was priced similar to those cars when it came out, but again, like I said, it is not those cars. It is very fun though, for what it is, and you have to understand it from okay, this is a Volvo perspective. Volvo doesn't necessarily make a lot of crazy fun cars like BMW, Audi, or Mercedes do. It was Volvo's attempt at making an M3 wagon, if you will, a modern M3 wagon. Obviously they had the V70Rs and S60Rs and the sedans, you know, previously, and that was their shot at the M badge previously, and I had a V70R, but again, those cars weren't an M3. Neither is this. But if you appreciate it for what it is, a fast, unique daily driver that a lot of people don't know what it is, and it goes under the radar, that is what this car is. It is, however, insanely fun. This is an adult WRX, and if you know anything about the WRX platform, the WRX is an utterly phenomenal daily driver for enthusiasts. It's approachable fun. That's what this is. This is approachable fun at the adult level, or like the next price difference up, if you will. How fun is it? There's a little bit of body roll, and again, with the modding, they have upgraded sway bars, they have you know, strut tower bracing. You can swap out the full suspension. This comes with Öhlins dampers, but it also comes with springs that are 80% stiffer than the R design, which is like the sporty trim of the normal one. You can probably tell as I'm holding my camera that the car's bouncing around a lot, even on this very smooth road. Like, this is not a road that has potholes and stuff in it. This is a freshly paved road in the last 2 years. It's still bouncing around a lot because the springs are very stiff. But a couple of people in this community have done a swap with KW coilovers and said it's much more compliant of a ride with that particular suspension swap. It's fun in handling. Is it fun to drive engine-wise? Well, yes, it is. It's very fun to drive engine-wise, and it's quick too. I took this to the drag strip and did a 13.38 quarter mile, which is faster than what Volvo claimed. Now, I believe with my tune that I get with a TDI box that I'm going to end up purchasing in the next week or so, and my downpipe, I believe I will be in the 12-second range. There's also a couple people claiming that they have these cars into the 11s with a lot of upgrades. Intercoolers, tuning, a new valve body for the transmission to make sure it runs properly, a transcooler, a lot of these, you know, upgrades over time that ladder up to something a lot better. Quite frankly, this thing in the 11s is pretty awesome. To put that in perspective, a C6 Z06 Corvette and a Jaguar F-Type R, and likely Chad's now 700 horsepower Mustang, card above, go watch that series, because we're building a 700 wheel horsepower Mustang, probably will all be in the 11s. When you think about it, a family hatchback from Volvo with enough mods can hang with sports cars. Now, not just sports cars, serious sports cars at the drag strip. That is insanely impressive. I mean, a Dodge Charger or Challenger Scat Pack with 485 horsepower, you know, from the factory does a 12.4 at the strip. This thing with a downpipe tune and maybe an intercooler and I think maybe a little bit more tuning can probably hang with that at the strip. That's impressive. It's moddable. It's going to be expensive and it's moddable, but it's fast and it's quick and it can hang. 0 to 60 in this car is 4.9 seconds. And at the strip, I had it at 4.5 on a prep surface. With all that stuff, I'll probably be in the low 4s, maybe even touching the 3s in 0 to 60, which with this all-wheel drive system, very impressive. This car overall, I believe, even pushing around 4,000 pounds in a small wagon, is a very fun car. Well, this is the last time you're gonna see this in winter spec for a while. I'm changing out these wheels for the summers tonight or tomorrow. They have a nice fresh wash. Man, this car just does look so nice with a fresh wash. It needs to get a full detail, and I'm not sure it's gonna come out on camera, but a lot of this, like you can see scratching back here, and there's a lot of like paint swirling on the rear. The paint on this car is really nice. It's tough to see because this already has dirt on it from when I was driving. Yeah, there we go. You can see this kind of like metallic flake to it. It's almost, the flake is almost like greenish purple in some lights. With that said, I'd love to wrap this car and change it up a little bit. The black is gorgeous, but there's so many cars that are black, silver, white, you know, gray, whatever. I just want something a little different. Maybe I do like a black and white combo with like a cool livery on the side. I don't know. Leave it in the comments. What do you guys want to see this car, what color this car could be? Hopefully in the next year or so I can do it, but you know, budget is always an issue. Wrapping, a good wrap job costs like, you know, $2,500 to $4,000 depending on where you go. So what would you guys like to see this car change to? Two more things before I sign off. I want to thank you guys because we've, again, had so much support through these videos. If you want to support us further, the best thing to do is to leave a like on this video and comment on it. That tells YouTube that you want to see more of these videos, and it tells YouTube to like blast these videos out to more people because people like it and enjoy it and watch it for a long time. The other thing you can do if you do want to support us further, we have a private Facebook group. We basically started a live stream, and we do it here on Shifting Lanes Garage. We simulcast it on Facebook and also on Twitch. So if you want to watch any of those three places, we do a live stream. I do it literally standing right here in my garage, sitting right here in my garage with Chad every Monday at 8 p.m., personal schedules permitting. Go join the private Facebook group. We talk in there. We give you perks. We're actually giving those members right now a free hat with the Shifting Lanes, whatever Shifting Lanes logo they want on it. And we're also doing different merch giveaways. We're doing meetups this year at Carlisle. We're actually meeting up with with everyone that can be there and doing a movie night at a local resident's house who's also a supporter, Doug. It is cool to connect more with you guys. So if you're interested, there's a link in the description to join the group. Again, it's sort of like a Patreon. It's like $5 a month. We just do it on Facebook because it's a great way to organize. If you want to support the channel, that's a good way to do it. We also have merch in the description below. You can do it there too. Those are the three kind of best ways to support us. And the second and final point of this video is, did I get anything wrong? Do you think that there is more to this car than meets the eye? I'd love to hear from more of you guys, the owners, Polestar owners, as well as P3 Volvo owners, whether it be the V60 or the V70 or whatever. Leave comments, please, because I'd love to hear what your experiences have been over the course of your ownership. There are things that I didn't mention of this car that are common faults. I just wanted to share my experience over the last 2 years with my particular car. I'm an N of 1, so it's not like it's a large sample size, if you will. This has been my experience with it, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit something from this. So that'll do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you have watched all the way to the end, you are an absolute legend. Thank you. Again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you like this, you want to see more about this car, more about Chad's 700 wheel horsepower Mustang, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, it helps us, and it lets you guys know when we do videos. If you want to follow us, all the links are in the description to every social media, at Shifting Lanes, at Shifting Lanes Garage on Twitch. You can follow me personally, at RealGregsonM, anywhere. And we're also now on TikTok. We're sharing all sorts of short form stuff, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, just about the cars we own, about the cars we review on our main channel at Hanson. And there's just so much content we've been producing. I hope you guys are enjoying it all over the place. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Gregson, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.